Hello and welcome back to Pass the Turn. This is another Magic the Gathering episode, and today we're going to be unboxing a little thing I received from Chaos Cards, and that is the Savage Hunger Brawl deck. So let's get straight to it. I'm looking forward to this because I'm making a Jund sacrificey sort of deck, taking apart my Ob Nixilis Oathbreaker deck because that's never going to be used. So yeah, I will show you a lot of cards that I'm going to be using in the deck, as well as cards that I've ordered that are going to be used in here, and also all the cards that are in the Savage Hunger deck as well, that comes as standard. So here it is, Korvold, the Fey Cursed King. This is the Brawl deck Savage Hunger, which I'm going to be upgrading to a Commander deck with loads of awesome cards in it. It's Jund as well, which is always good. So Korvold, the Fey Cursed King, is a Jund commander. 1 green, 1 red, 1 black, and 2 others, and he's a legendary Dragon Noble. He's a 4/4 flying, instantly good, and whenever he enters the battlefield or attacks, you have to sacrifice another permanent. So that could be any permanent you like, land, enchantment, artifact, creature, anything. And whenever you sacrifice a permanent, not just from this guy's triggered ability, but whenever you sacrifice a permanent, you put a +1/+1 counter on Korvold and you draw a card. So again, it's going to be very aristocracy, and yeah, it's going to be fun. So let's open it. So this deck, I'm very much going to be just looking at the cards, taking out the good ones, and then making a commander deck from this. And I mean, Brawl is a struggling format. Let's be honest. I mean, everyone loves Commander. Everyone's been, you know, subject to watching the Command Zone and all the antics that go on that channel. And if you're watching this channel, you're probably here as a result of our Commander stuff as well. We are going to be venturing into other things as well, so make sure you like and subscribe, and make sure you keep up to date with the channel. Now watch this space, because Chaos Cards is going to be potentially another affiliate that you can use for any sort of sealed product, board games, Magic the Gathering, singleton cards, collectibles. So watch this space, as Pass the Turn could be getting an affiliate link with Chaos Cards, and they're an awesome company, great prices, always good product in stock, so watch this space. So not many cards to go through. It's only a 60 card singleton deck, so it's not going to be a hugely long video, but I just wanted to cover the Savage Hunger deck list because I haven't seen anything on the internet that covers the whole deck list, and that's what I was looking for. So hopefully this video solves that issue if you're having the same issue. So first of all, the first card on the stack is Chittering Witch. So this is a human warlock 2/2. It costs 1 black and 3 others. And when Chittering Witch enters the battlefield, create a number of 1/1 black rat creature tokens equals the number of opponents you have. So this was built to be in Commander. And I bought one of these recently as a single card. I didn't realise I was going to get this deck because I thought this basically, it comes in with 3 extra bodies because I'm always going to be playing Commander. It's a 2/2, and it can also has a sacrifice outlet on it as well. Sacrifice a creature and play 1 black and 1 other. Target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn. So there's a bit of removal on there as well. So not only does it come in as a 2/2 body, it comes in with 3 rats that you can sacrifice to Korvold, sacrifice to the Chittering Witch, or sacrifice to any other outlet to give another creature -2/-2 until end of turn. It's fantastic utility and a great card in the deck. That's Chittering Witch. Next card is Taste of Death. This costs 2 black and 4 others. It's a sorcery. Each player sacrifices 3 creatures, and you create 3 food tokens. Now this is awesome because it makes everyone else sack their creatures, and that's also really good. You know, it gets round hexproof, it gets round indestructible. Sacrifices are always a good thing to have in your arsenal because it gets around a lot of those annoying keywords like indestructible and hexproof that stop people from being targeted. Albeit the person who is sacrificing their creatures has to choose that creature to be sacrificed, but again, it's annoying for that player because they can't really get around it unless they have Cigana out, which is absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, this is also good as well because it creates 3 food tokens. Food tokens are artifacts with pay 2 and tap, sacrifice it to gain 3 life. But in Korvold, you can sacrifice any permanent, so you can sacrifice a food token as well. So not only does it clear the board and kills loads of creatures, pumps up Korvold, but it also gives you 3 things again to sacrifice later potentially, or gain yourself some life back. So again, a great little mini board wipe with extra utility in this sort of deck. Taste of Death. Next card is Thorn Mammoth, a creature elephant, 6/6 trample. It costs 2 green and 5 others. And when Thorn Mammoth or another creature enters the battlefield under your control, Thorn Mammoth fights up to one type creature you don't control. So this is great if you had Chittering Witch come out while Thorn Mammoth was out. So Thorn Mammoth is out right now. He's on the field. Chittering Witch would then come out, and that would trigger his ability. He would fight up to another type creature we don't control because the creature would enter. Then this would also enter with 3 additional rat tokens. This would fight something 4 times as a result of Chittering Witch coming out. So I think that is a good card for enter the battlefield decks, but I'm not entirely sure if this deck was token based. Then yeah, it would be good in there. But I think this is more for enter the battlefield. Could be good in like Yarok or Gyrus type decks, which you'll come to see on the channel at some point, I expect. Thorn Mammoth. Next card is Gluttonous Troll. This costs a Golgari and 2, 3/3 trample troll. When it enters the battlefield, create a number of food tokens equal to the number of opponents you have. So again, a great card which will create 3 food tokens when it comes in. It's a 3/3 trample. And then you can sacrifice another non-land permanent for green and 1 other, and it gets +2/+2 at the end of turn, so it can pump itself up, and it's another sacrifice outlet. So again, another great card with great utility, similar to Chittering Witch, but instead it creates food tokens and pumps itself up. So a good card, that is Gluttonous Troll. Next card is Priest of the Forgotten Gods. This costs 1 black and 1 other, 1/2 Human Cleric, and you can tap it and sacrifice 2 other creatures, and any number of target players each lose 2 life and sacrifice a creature, and you add 2 black and draw a card. So again, that is great. So if you've got a lot of creatures out on the field, you can sacrifice them. Any number of target players can each lose 2 life and draw a creature, and you add 2 black and draw a card. So again, bit of ramp, bit of value, and good for sacrificing stuff as well. Dreadhawk's Invasion. This is basically a cheap Bitter Blossom. So pay 1 black and 1 other, and it's an enchantment that comes out. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life and you amass 1. So you put a +1/+1 counter on an army you control. If you don't control one, create a 0/0 black zombie army creature token first. So again, you get a 0/0 black zombie with a +1/+1 counter on it, and every turn you're going to lose life, and it's going to pump this amassed zombie up. And whenever a zombie creature token you control with power 6 or greater attacks, it gains lifelink until end of turn. So it's going to be a big, massive army just building up, waiting to become power 6 or greater. Then it's going to start giving you that life back that you lost. But again, interesting card, but I'm not sure if it quite fits into the deck that I plan to build on korvold. Next card is Krenko, the King Street Kingpin. No, not King Street Kingpin, the Tin Street Kingpin, should I say. It's a 1/2 legendary creature Goblin, costs 1 red and 2 others. Whenever he attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on it, then create a number of 1/1 red Goblin creature tokens equal to Krenko's power. So whenever he attacks, he creates a lot of goblins based on what his power is. So again, could be quite good, but it's very situational. I'm not sure if Krenko is going to fit into my build of korvold, but stay tuned for that, and you'll see what I tend to put in there when I build it. But this is just a deck list of what comes in the Savage Hunger deck, should I say. Krenko Tin Street Kingpin. Next card is Judith, the Scourge Diva. Costs 1 black, 1 red, and 1 other. So Rakdos and 1 legendary creature Human Shaman. It's a 2/2. Other creatures you control get +1/+0, so their attack is boosted by 1. And whenever a non-token creature dies, Judith deals 1 damage to any target. So again, it's good for draining people out and just giving you a slight anthem to all your creatures' attacking abilities, and good for just pinging damage around as and when stuff that you control dies, which is always good. Nice little split card here. It's Golgari split card, and it is Find and Finality. So this is a sorcery. So the first one is return up to 2 target creature cards from graveyard to your hand. That's Find. Or Finality is you may put 2 +1/+1 counters on a creature you control. Then all other creatures or all creatures get -4/-4 at the end of turn. So that's quite good for pumping up your own creature and then killing everything else. A little mini board wipe and a little buff spell, so that's quite cool. I'm not sure if it has a place in the deck, but we will see. Find and Finality. A couple of rare lands. We've got Temple of Malady. So this is a Golgari land that comes into play, and you can scry 1 when it comes in, which is always good for insight, especially in Brawl decks. And then a very expensive land, Stomping Ground. It's a mountain forest, and as it enters the battlefield, you may pay 2 life. If you don't, it enters tapped, but otherwise it taps for red and green. So a great land for multicolour. Stomping Ground. Next card is a lovely little removal spell, and it's very thematic with Throne of Eldraine. That is Bake into a Pie. So this costs 2 black and 2 others. Destroy target creature and then create a food token. So you would get a food token from the beast that you just put in the oven, basically. You get to eat it or sacrifice it later, which is also good. Again, anything that gives you tokens is great in this deck because it's whenever you sacrifice a permanent with korvold. So that's really, really good. Bake into a Pie. Sir Comrade the Grim. This is outrageously good. Probably the most overpowered uncommon legendary human knight in the Throne of Eldraine cycle. So this costs 2 black and 3 others. Legendary creature human knight is a 5/4, so a good little stack block for the mana that you pay. Whenever another creature dies, or a creature card is put into a graveyard from anywhere other than the battlefield, or a creature card leaves your graveyard, Sir Comrade deals 1 damage to each opponent. And then you can pay 1 black and 1 other. Each player puts a top card of their library into their graveyard. So if any creature is moving into the graveyard or out of the graveyard or in the graveyard or what have you, this guy is going to drain people's life. And in a sacrifice deck, recursion, reanimation, this could be really, really good because it's just a great value card for just draining people for any interaction that's happening within the graveyard or anything leaving the graveyard for that matter. So Sir Comrade is fantastic. There could be decks built on just his ability alone. Next card is Keeper of Fables, a Eldraine cat that costs 2 green and 3 others. It's a 4/5, and whenever 1 or more non-human creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. So that's pretty good. You know, if you're running non-humans, that is potentially a Beedent of Thassa in green. So whenever a creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card on a creature as well. That's pretty cool. Pretty good combat-based card draw, Keeper of Fables. Nice little cat. Next card is Golgari Savage Hunter. Golgari and 1 human warrior. When it attacks or blocks, you create a food token, which is always good. And then you can sacrifice 2 foods to draw a card. So again, food tokens is a running theme in Eldraine and a running theme in this Fakehurst King deck as well. So I might have to utilise a lot of those food tokens from Eldraine when building the korvold deck, EDH style. Savage Hunter. Next card, Golden Egg. Costs 2, it's an artifact, food. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card, so it's a 2 mana draw card, but then you can also pay 1 and sacrifice it to add 1 mana of any colour, or you can pay 2 and sacrifice it to gain 3 life. So it's basically a food token, like an accentuated food token. So it's going to be an egg that comes in, allows you to draw a card, but you can always use that as well to gain 3 life or add a mana of any colour to your mana pool as well if you're struggling for that mana that you need colour-wise, because obviously you have to pay 1 and sacrifice it to generate that mana. But again, cool little card, fits in with the theme, Golden Egg. Next card, Witch's Oven, costs 1 to bring out, and it's an artifact. It allows you to sacrifice a creature to create a food token. If the sacrificed creature's toughness was 4 or greater, you get 2 food tokens instead. So this is good if you want to literally bring out a big creature and then sacrifice that big creature to make it into 2 different things that you can sacrifice rather than just the 1. And again, you could get a good sacrifice trigger off of that from korvold. And again, it just goes on and on. Witch's Oven is a great card to have in there if you just want to be baking creatures into pies and then sacrificing or eating those pies. Next card is an awesome card, Arcane Cygnets. This is great in any commander deck because it costs 2, and it comes out and it says add 1 mana of any colour in your commander's colour identity. So again, this is probably one of the most valuable cards in the Brawl decks, Arcane Cygnet, and it's worth picking up just for that. If you love Commander, get an Arcane Cygnet because it's going to go in pretty much any deck along with the Soul Rings and what have you, because it's going to give you the mana that you need for your Commander deck. So again, a great card to use in Commander, Arcane Cygnet. Next card is Orzhov Enforcer. So it costs 1 black and 1 other. It's a human rogue with 1/2 and Death Touch. So again, a nice little body on the ground that can kill or trade with any other creature that comes in swinging at it. But it also has Afterlife 1. So when this creature dies, create a 1/1 white and black spirit creature token with flying. So again, it gives you double utilization for creature sacrifice. So you could sacrifice this guy, then you'd get another spirit, and that you could then sacrifice if you wanted, or you can just sacrifice this to gain a spirit with 1/1 flying, which is always good, having a flying blocker. So again, just extra utility from creatures dying, which is good. Didn't realise that even existed, so that's probably going to have to stay in there, because it's a nice little 1/2 Death Touch drop as well with Afterlife, so good utility. Next card is Plague Crafter, so this costs 1 black and 2 others. Human Shaman, 3/2. When it enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. Each player who can't discards a card. So again, a great way of culling the board, but if they can't cull the board, it messes with their plans in their hand. Again, good little disruption card, Plague Crafter, and it's a nice little body on the floor that can be sacrificed later if needed. Vindictive Vampire, the next card, costs 1 black and 3 others. It's a 2/3 vampire. So whenever a creature you control dies, Vindictive Vampire deals 1 damage to each opponent and you gain 1 life. So that's awesome. So whenever another creature you control dies, it will drain the whole table and you gain a life. So again, similar to like Blood Artist and creatures that will drain as creatures die. Not as good, but again, could be quite good in the deck if a lot of things are dying on your side and you can be damaging people and draining people with that also. Nice little card from M20, Blood-Soaked Altar. This costs 2 black and 4 others. It's an artifact, and you can tap and pay 2 life and discard a card and sacrifice a creature. Create a 5/5 black demon creature with flying. Activate this ability only anytime you can activate or cast a sorcery. So again, it's a sacrifice outlet, it's a discard outlet, so if you want to chuck stuff in your graveyard, you can do. And it creates a 5/5 black demon at the end of it as well, so you're getting that value back in the form of a big, beefy demon with flying. That's always good, having big demons out. As you know, I love demons. Blood-Soaked Altar. Next card is Goblin Caretaker. No, it's not. That's a different card I'm thinking of. Next card is Goblin Crater Maker. This is 1 red and 1 other for a Goblin Warrior, 2/2. And his abilities are 1, pay 1, sacrifice Goblin Crater Maker and choose 1. It deals 2 damage to target creature or destroy target colourless non-land permanent. So that's pretty good. Target colourless non-land permanent. So yeah, he can deal 2 damage to target creature by sacrificing him, or he can destroy a colourless non-land permanent. So he can destroy a artifact, or an artifact creature, or a colourless non-land permanent. What other non-land permanents are there? Colourless. Eldrazi. Destroy target colourless non-land permanent. This guy could kill Emrakul if you wanted to. Destroy target colourless non-land permanent. So yeah, he could kill any Eldrazi, this guy. Goblin Crater Maker. So he's just got a load of bombs in his sack, and he can just destroy any colourless non-land permanent. That's outrageous. That's pretty good. And it's a sacrifice trigger as well, so again, that would pump korvold up. Very good. Next card is Rapacious Dragon. So it's a 3/3 flying dragon, costs 1 red and 4 others. When it enters the battlefield, create 2 treasure tokens. So again, treasure tokens are like food tokens, but with treasure tokens you sacrifice it to add 1 mana of any colour. And again, there's still tokens that you can sacrifice, still permanents you can sacrifice. So again, Rapacious Dragon would probably go in the deck because it creates stuff that can be utilised for sacrificial purposes. So again, great card, and it's a 3/3 flying body. Next card, Evolution Sage. So Evolution Sage is a 3/2 Elf Druid from War of the Spark, costs 1 green and 2 others. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, proliferate. So choose a number of permanents and or players, then give each another counter of each kind already there. So this, I don't know why this is in there. Probably just in there for korvold himself. Whenever a land enters, you give him another +1/+1 counter if he's got +1/+1 counters on already. But I feel that that's a wasted card in there, Evolution Sage. So we can just move on from that. Next card is another War of the Spark, Paradise Druid. So this costs 1 green and 1 other. It's an Elf Druid with 2/1, and it has hexproof as long as it's untapped. And then you can tap to add 1 mana of any colour. So if you don't tap it to add mana, it can stand there and not get targeted. But if you want to add 1 mana of any colour, you can do. So that's a great card, because any card that adds 1 mana of any colour is always good. So Paradise Druid, welcome addition for ramp. Next card is another Druid, Pollen Bright Druid, costs 1 green and 1 other. Again, Druid from War of the Spark, it's a 1/1. When it enters the battlefield, you can choose one. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, or proliferate. So again, I don't know why they were chucking these War of the Spark cards in here. The proliferate is not really going to be a big theme in this deck, because proliferate just gives you one kind of counter that's already on a permanent, right? So at best, this is going to be a body that comes in and gives you a +1/+1 counter on korvold, which is not great. I mean, yeah, it could be sacrificed, you know, for something, but yeah, I just don't think that's going to be in the commander deck that I tend to build. But again, I'm just giving you the list so you know what's in the Savage Hunger deck before you buy it. Next card is awesome, Golgari Find Broker. This is an Elf Shaman, 3/4, cost black, green, and when he enters the battlefield, return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. So a good bit of recursion there for permanents that have died that you want to return back to your hand. It's always good to have a bit of recursion in a deck. Next card is awesome removal and ramp at the same time. Death Sprout, one of my favourite cards from War of the Spark, and it did work in the pre-release. So this is black, green, 1. Destroy target creature, search library for a basic land card, put it onto battlefield, tap, and shuffle your library. So great removal, single target, ramp also included. So again, when you're figuring out what removal to put in the deck, what ramp to put in the deck, this could potentially count as 2 sources of that decision tree. So again, tree, no pun intended. But yeah, Death Sprout, awesome card, always worth a consider. Next card is Thrashing Brontodon, a big 3/4 dinosaur that costs 2 green and 1 other, and you can pay 1 and sacrifice it to destroy target artifact or enchantment. So again, it's a nice little body that you can sacrifice to pump up korvold. It also gets rid of a pesky artifact or enchantment, so again, could be good in the deck itself. And another big body that you can utilise for your sacrifice purposes as well. So good card. Next card is Rhythm of the Wild. This is an enchantment, so it costs Gruul and 1. Creature spells you control cannot be countered. So if you're playing a big creature deck, this is probably going to go in a different deck actually, my Gyrus or Thantis sort of deck, which you will see at some point. Creature spells you control cannot be countered, so no one can get in the way of your plans of playing big creatures, which is always good. And non-token creatures you control have Riot, so they can enter the battlefield of a choice of a +1/+1 counter or haste. So again, that is completely aggro based, not really suited to this sort of deck, Aristocrats, but I can definitely find another use for Rhythm of the Wild, so I'll definitely put that in something else. Great little card, Leyline Prowler, a lot of value in this card. It's Golgari and 1 for a Nightmare Beast, 2/3, Death Touch, Lifelink, tap, add 1 mana of any colour. So again, a fantastic include for trading with any creature on the ground, getting you a little bit of life back, and also ramping you for any colour mana. So again, it's worth considering for any deck really that runs black and green. Fantastic card, Leyline Prowler. Next card is Mayhem Devil. This is a Rakdos and 1. Look at it. That is so Rakdos. Look at him. The Mayhem Devil. Blurred as hell, but never mind. So whenever a player sacrifices a permanent, Mayhem Devil deals 1 damage to any target. So that has to stay in there, because whenever a player sacrifices a permanent, it deals 1 damage to any target. So this could target planeswalkers, players, creatures. If you're sacrificing loads of things at once, whenever any player sacrifices a permanent, it deals 1 damage to any target. So again, there's going to be a lot of sacrifice going on, so having a pinger in there that could potentially ping for a load of damage at once is going to be quite useful. So that should probably stay in there. And it's a 3/3 for 3, so again, a nice little body on the floor ready to block. Next card, Woodland Champion. This costs 1 green and 1 other, and it's a 2/2, Elf Scout. Whenever 1 or more tokens enter the battlefield under your control, put that many +1/+1 counters on Woodland Champion. So again, great if you're running a token deck, because this guy will become extremely powerful extremely quickly. 1 or more tokens enter the battlefield. So it could be quite good in this deck if you're running a lot of pies and sacrifice, treasures and artifacts and food tokens and stuff that enters with other tokens. This could become quite a big threat quite quickly. But again, I'm not sure what kind of route the EDH deck that I plan to build is going to go down. But again, if you're running tokens, this could be quite good. Woodland Champion. Is this the last? No. So 2 more cards before we get onto the land base, but the land base value really has been discussed in Temple of Malady and Stomping Ground. But next card is Moldovan Reclamation. This costs Golgari and 3, and whenever a creature you control dies, you gain 1 life and draw a card. So again, that's a fantastic enchantment, albeit it's quite expensive, but it can still give you a lot of mid-game value. When a lot of stuff is dying, you can draw cards and still gain some life back. So again, that could potentially be an include in the deck as well, Moldovan Reclamation. Because stuff's always going to be dying, you're going to be getting life back and drawing cards, so again, could be a good drop on turn 5, or 4 if you've got the ramp out. Last card in the deck is Angrath, Captain of Chaos. This is a legendary planeswalker comes in with 5 loyalty, and you can pay either Rakdos or, it's a Rakdos colour card. You can pay black or red for its coloured symbols, and then 2 of any colour. And creatures you control have Menace, which is always good, so they can't be blocked by 2 unless they block by 2 or more creatures. And then you can amass 2, so you can -2 to amass 2. Put 2+++ counters on an army you control. If you don't have one, then you create a zombie army instead. So again, that's the deck. That's the cards that you get with the Brawl deck with Korvold, Fakehurst King. Some cards can be taken out to improve that deck. If you want to play it in Brawl, you can take out some cards in there to make it better. If you want to convert it into a commander deck, you can also do that as well with some cards. I'm going to go through some cards that I've got for my commander deck in a moment, but I just wanted to give you the deck list as it stands when you buy it. And then you get some basic lands. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 swamps. 1, 2, 2 mountains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 forests. A Bloodfell Caves, a Cryptic Caves, a Command Tower, of course, Evolving Wilds, a Rakdos Guildgate, Golgari Guildgate, Gruul Guildgate, Rugged Highlands, and Jungle Hollow. So that's the land base that you get in there. Obviously, we're only interested really in those scry lands like Temple of Malady and the Stomping Ground also, and the Command Tower in its sick new artwork. Not really interested in the other stuff. You can pick up the other lands, you know, for cheap. Cryptic Caves is also quite good. You can sacrifice it. Again, that would pump up Korvold as well to draw a card. Activate it only if you control 5 or more lands. But everything else is just your standard. Comes into play tapped lands that give you double mana for different colours. So yeah, I mean, a generic mana base, but a mana base that I think would work fairly well in this Brawl deck for what you need it to do. So that is the Savage Hunger Brawl deck. And I just wanted to make a deck list for you, because obviously people are going to want to buy this, and just to get the legendary creature Korvold, as well as some other awesome cards in there as well for Arcane Cygnets and all that sort of stuff. Obviously there's been quite a lot of stuff going around on distribution for the Brawl decks, and you know how they're going to be distributed. That's why I picked one up quite quickly, and I got it from Chaos Cards. And as I said at some point, you should expect us to become affiliated with Chaos Cards soon as well. And they do your sealed products. They do Magic the Gathering, board games, sealed products, collectibles, all sorts of different things, and we're going to be affiliated with them soon as well. They also do singles, so we're going to be affiliated with them soon, I believe. It's under process at the moment, so when we do, make sure you buy your sealed product through Chaos Cards using our affiliate link, and there'll be another video when we do become affiliated with them, and you'll be able to find a link there, because any purchase you help, I say that every time, any purchase you make will help support us directly. So definitely check that out when it comes, and keep updated with the channel, and you'll see when we become affiliated, and start buying your cards through there just using our affiliate link if you're UK based, and that would help us tremendously. Yeah, so that's the Korvold Fakehurst King Brawl deck. Now I'll just tell you what sort of cards I've bought to go in the sacrifice deck that I plan to make with that. So I've actually got 2 decks in the pipeline at the moment. So I'll give you a couple of cards that are going to go into this one when I make it. So Grave Pact. So whenever any creature you control is put into a graveyard, each other player sacrifices a creature. So again, when you're sacrificing your own creatures, other people are going to have to sacrifice theirs as well. So Grave Pact is the old printing from Stronghold. But again, a fantastic card. Grave Pact is great in any sacrifice deck, because it means whenever you sacrifice a creature, everyone else has to do the same thing. It's like a mini board wipe that's just sat there every time. Another good card is Greater Good. So this is sacrifice a creature, so it's an enchantment. It stays out. So you can sacrifice a creature to draw cards equal to sacrifice creature's power and then discard 3 cards. So you could mill yourself or chuck things, well not mill yourself, chuck things in the grave that potentially you want to have in the grave, ready to be reanimated potentially, or just use it for a good sacrifice outlet to draw a ton of cards if you've got a dog hand. So again, Greater Good, awesome card, and it just sits there as an enchantment, as a sack outlet also. Another card, Momentous Fall. This is 2 green and 2 others for an instant. As an additional cost to cast a spell, sacrifice creature. You draw a card equal to the sacrifice creature's power, and you gain life equal to its toughness. So again, a great ability to sacrifice creatures and get cards and gain life. So again, a couple of cards there that I'm going to be putting in this deck when I make it, and all sorts of other sacrifice cards are going to be going in there. Yeah, I just want to give you a brief overview of what is in the korvold deck. So thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Pass the Turn. And yeah, make sure you like and subscribe, and ding our bells, please.